Friends. Imagine you're sitting quietly with a cup of coffee, and someone leans toward you and whispers a secret. Not about luck, or hidden gold, or a shortcut to riches, but a secret about how money actually grows. A secret so practical, so simple, that once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Welcome to today's episode, where we dive into the transformative wisdom of how to multiply money. Not a book of hype, not a book of miracles, but a book that shows you, step by step, how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth by understanding how money behaves. Settle in, because this is the kind of knowledge that stays with you for a lifetime. The book opens with a striking idea that money behaves like a seed. A seed doesn't look powerful, and neither does the single dollar you place aside on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. But the seed, when placed in the right conditions, multiplies itself. And the book's entire message revolves around recognizing those right conditions. The author begins by challenging one of the biggest misconceptions in people's minds, that multiplying money requires a big income. He tells the story of Grace, a school teacher who never earned more than average, but understood one thing: money follows direction. Every month, she took a fixed amount, never impressive, always consistent, and invested it. Over 30 years, Grace's small contributions snowballed into a fortune because she gave every dollar a mission. Her friends, who earned more but lived reactively, never caught up with her. The lesson was crystal clear. Money without purpose disappears. Money with purpose multiplies. This leads into the first cornerstone of the book: financial clarity. The author explains that most people live in a fog. They don't know what they earn, what they spend, what they own, or what they owe. He uses the example of a man named Ravi, who thought he had a money problem. But once he tracked his spending for a month, he discovered he had a decision problem. His money wasn't multiplying because it was being scattered into unconscious habits. With clarity, his finances began to align, and his investments finally had space to grow. From clarity, the book shifts into the power responsible for nearly every fortune ever built: compound growth. To explain this, the author uses the famous penny doubled for 30 days example, where one penny becomes over $5 million through compounding. But he doesn't stop at math. He explains it emotionally. Compounding doesn't reward the smartest person, nor the wealthiest, nor the most daring. It rewards the most patient. He tells the story of an investor who earned less than his colleagues but became wealthier because he started early and stayed consistent. When others panicked during market downturns, he continued investing. And when the market recovered, his money accelerated like a snowball rolling down a mountain. Then comes one of the most important topics: mindset and self-sabotage. The book reveals that many people subconsciously blocked themselves from wealth because they were raised with beliefs like, money is hard, wealth is for others, or I'm not good with money. The author shares a story of a woman named Sandra who earned a good salary but never kept money. Through journaling, she realized she feared becoming like her wealthy uncle, who was cold and distant. Once she rewrote her money beliefs, her financial habits transformed. The message is subtle, but powerful. Your outer wealth can never exceed your inner beliefs. With mindset addressed, the book introduces one of its most actionable principles: automation. Money multiplies fastest when emotion is removed. Automatic transfers to savings and investments act like an invisible machine that builds wealth while you sleep. The author compares automation to setting a river on course. Once the path is set, the flow becomes natural. He gives the example of Mark, who automated a tiny weekly investment. He barely felt the withdrawals, but years later, he had accumulated significant wealth, simply because he didn't rely on willpower or motivation. Then comes a major theme of the book: leverage. Not the risky kind, but the multiplying kind. The author explains that people who rely only on their time and physical effort can only grow linearly. But people who use leverage grow exponentially. Leverage includes investments that continue earning, digital products that sell repeatedly, rental properties, dividend stocks, partnerships, and even skills that pay indefinitely. He shares the example of a man who wrote a simple online guide that sold every month, creating an income stream that multiplied quietly in the background. This teaches that money multiplies not by working harder, but by letting systems, assets, and opportunities work for you. But the book also stresses a critical truth. Protect multiplied money before growing it further. Many people lose more wealth through poor decisions than they ever gain through good ones. The author shares the painful example of a couple who lost their savings by chasing too good to be true investments. He warns against speculation, emotional investing, and falling for promises of fast results. The book reinforces the need for emergency funds, insurance, and understanding risk. Multiplying money is meaningless if you don't first preserve what you've grown. As the book approaches its later chapters, it explores increasing earning potential, explaining that money multiplies faster when you multiply. Building valuable skills, communication, negotiation, leadership, digital skills, creates new income channels and new opportunities. He shares a story of a young man who doubled his income not by working more hours, but by learning how to present ideas more effectively. His value increased, and so did his financial trajectory. Bringing all the ideas together, the author presents the rhythm of wealth building: clarity, discipline, automation, compounding, leverage, protection, expansion. Each stage supports the next, like gears turning inside a powerful engine. The closing metaphor of the book is beautiful. He says that money is not a fire to be chased, nor a prize to be won. It is a garden. Some seeds grow fast, some slow, but with consistent care, sunlight, water, patience, the garden expands into abundance. Wealth is not created in moments of brilliance. It is created in moments of consistency. And that is ultimately how money multiplies. And that brings us to the end of today's journey. But the ideas in this book don't end here. They begin each time you take a small, intentional step. Each time you direct a dollar, automate a habit, build a skill, or plant a new financial seed. If this episode sparks something in you, remember, multiplying money is not reserved for the gifted. It's reserved for the consistent.